Good evening, good evening.
Like, what's going on?
Welcome to this evening's
I'll have to check that.
Grand Rapids Public Schools Board of Education Board meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to read our safety protocols. Good evening and welcome attendees. Before we begin the proceedings of our board meeting, just like to highlight our protocols and expectations. Based on the latest data, science, and guidance from the King County Health Department, we have extended the Grps PK-12 mask mandate for all students, staff, and visitors until the end of the school year, regardless of vaccination status. If you are in need of a mask, there are some available at the entrances. And public comment cards and meeting agendas are located on the tables within the board chambers at both entrances. Once you fill out a comment card, please submit this in the drop box next to the comment cards, and our board assistant will collect them when I call for public comment and deliver them to our board secretary. Individuals will be called up one at a time to address the board at the presentation table. On behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Legislative Luncheon, who's not here tonight, and on behalf of Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Ron Gorman and the Board of Education, thank you for being here in attendance with us. And we will get started with our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Grant, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Dr. Flores?
Present.
Ms. Grant, present. Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Reverend Matias is excused. Ms. Shockey?
I'm here.
Mrs. Williams is excused. Dr. Baker?
Here.
Ms. Davis is excused. President Ross?
Present. And moving forward, I would like a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Support.
And moving on with our agenda, no celebrations tonight. Report of our student board. Doesn't look like we have Ms. Calderon, Mr. Chisholm.
Yeah, so we have an upcoming meeting with the Superintendent Scholar Advisory Council next Wednesday. We're meeting to discuss food programs in GRPS as well as building renovation / beautification. So that's coming up here. And then I guess on a different angle, City High has an upcoming musical that we put on every year. Normally we have it in the fall, but we're having it in the spring this year or in the winter. We're putting on The Music Man in the coming weeks here, and they've been working very hard on that. So it'll be a nice performance for the families and for the cast and everything like that. So that's just something to look forward to.
Right. Thank you very much. Public comment for board agenda items. Don't believe we have any this evening. Do we have any comment from our union representatives? We do not. So let's move forward with the secretary's report.
All right. I have an update on committee meeting schedules. Policy Committee will be held on Wednesday, January 19th at 5 p.m. in the Franklin Campus Administration Building. Finance Committee is scheduled for Monday, January 31st at 4:30 p.m., also in the Franklin Campus Administration Building.
Excellent. Thank you. Before I move forward with our committee chair updates, Ms. Davis is not here for academic achievement. I believe, Ms. Grant, you were going to provide an
Yes,
update.
I do have the Academic Achievement Committee update. In this month's meeting, we had a few updates. I'll start with the Instructional Council update that was given. We had some information from the museum school. They presented on their senior capstone. Their capstone is where multiple advisors are paired with students as they prepare a compilation of all they have learned at museum school. This year, they tied freshmen in so that they can gain perspective on what they will experience. Each senior leaves behind an artifact that is put on display in the school. Eric Butrin presented a class that will count as an elective for science credit, and they will pilot in the fall. It is made possible through a grant for computer science. He is now completing the 40 hours of PD for a program called Python, a coding program, which is a high-level computer coding program, and students can take that class. They will be able to take that class and use it as a science credit. Mr. Lewis, Rodney Lewis, presented a refresher to us on the Academies at Ottawa Hills. They recently visited the Randolph Career Tech Center in Detroit Public Schools, where they have a construction center and students learn about HVAC, plumbing, masonry, and more. So several admin went to check out that school and just how it functions. They've also surveyed students at Ottawa on their interests, and there was high interest in culinary, media production, and health sciences. Right now, they're focusing on recruiting and retaining students, which has been a little challenging in the pandemic. So the two academies that they are focusing on is media production, which is in a soft launch with 11 students. They have hired a consultant for 2022 that will help with that school. I'm sorry, I'm reading notes from Mrs. Davis. Also, there is the School of Hospitality and Tourism, which is looking to add a culinary arts avenue with GRCC in the fall. Also, in that vein, we did note that the full board had showed some interest in an update and a refresher with what was going on with Ottawa. Also, if you guys recall, we had brief conversation about kind of putting together one-pagers for each academy. What are the possible careers, the salary amounts, what majors can they go into, and what companies in the local area are hiring in those areas. We talked about that, and that was quite a while ago before, pre-COVID. So they are working on those things, and they will present those to the full board as well when they're available.
I have one question, Ms. Davis. Is this new computer class, is that just for museum school, or is that for everybody? Or
So it's being piloted at the museum school. It is so a teacher does not have to have a certification to teach that. They outside of the 40 hours of PD that are required. So it's being piloted there. I believe, and Dr. Gorman, please jump in.
Yep.
That it could be taught at another school as well.
Absolutely. So, of course, instructional council, their courses presented by, teachers in schools who are passionate about courses, put them together. But if we offer it in one school, for the most part, we can offer it in all schools. So this is just something brought to the table by the team there at Museum.
so it's like a pilot then?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then finally, Dr. Gorman presented on state assessment data. So during 2020, we did have a big push for students to still participate in testing. And the conversation that we had with Dr. Gorman was that was not done, countywide in all other districts. So we know all data from last year is very skewed for multiple reasons, but we know that students in a pandemic may not have tested as high as before. So we were able to review each school and where testing fell, and then also comparing that to other districts where they may have tested a very small and selective amount of students. And so we were having a conversation about, like, what does that look like? Was it to our benefit? And what does that mean when it comes to legislation and things moving forward? How should we be maybe, pushing on legislators to keep that in mind as they're looking at our data in the future?
So do we know how many exactly number of our kids took that? And do we have any data on those kids?
For the most part, about 50% of the students in the Grand Rapids Public Schools took the state assessment last year. If you compare that to many schools in the region, we have districts that tested single-digit percentages of students. Of course, we mandated it for students who were attending school in person or for virtual students who wanted to come in and make an appointment to test. Again, there were other districts in the region who did not do that. So we tested about, again, 50% of our students. And if we think about why we test students, it's to figure out what they know. Hopefully we're not penalized for that, but again, 50% during a pandemic was pretty good numbers compared to other folks in the region.
All right, that concludes my report.
Any other clarifying questions for Ms. Grant? From anyone? No? Okay, the Legislative Committee update, Dr. Baker.
Yeah, thanks. That was a good report, and just reminds me how much heavy lifting that committee does. The Legislative Committee just met moments ago, and I'll try to get some high level and then probably maybe ask, if anybody wants specifics, might ask Mr. Helmut to come up. The biggest news is the school aid budget, and I'm reluctant to say it because it just sounds like like it's too good to be true, but 4.5 billion, B as in budget, billion, greater than anticipated. So that will lead to lots of lobbying on behalf of how that money is spent. And of course, our legislative platforms and supports are already in place in Lansing. The second big piece are a variety of efforts to encourage teachers to or persons to consider teaching or to do it. So this was a figure, and again, this is kind of the opposite. It's too bad to be true, but 71% decline in the number of persons going into teacher preparation programs since 2006. So if you can think of any industry losing 71%, and it's not like an industry that's lost the positions over that time. It's an industry that has been persistent, but has lost people going into it. So that has consequences, and there are proposals such as scholarship support, stipends for student teachers, a variety of measures that are being proposed, and that these can be done perhaps through other means than the legislative means. And finally, the third update is on February 4th at 11:30 at GRPS University. There is the Legislative Luncheon that we are working on to get people there, and it would be great if everybody here was able to attend that. Any specifics, or do you want any more information about the budget or the efforts to increase the teaching force?
Dr. Baker, I know I was at the meeting, I should know this, but 71% of the people going into education, from what? From the last 5 years or
From
less?
what it was in 2006.
What it was in 2006?
So the number of students going into teacher preparation in 2006 compared to the number today is 71% less than it was in
Okay.
2006. Anything, Jay?
Single largest decline of all 50 states.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Superintendent's report.
President Ross and members of the board, I would like to ask John Helmholtz and President Stephanie Adams to come forward. We will have two brief presentations this evening. The first of which is on the strategic planning update, and the second of which is a GRPS Foundation update. Mr. Helmholtz.
Dr. Gorman, President Ross, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to give an update. So strategic plan, we had a really successful input session last Thursday. We were a little nervous. It was an open house format. It was 4 hours long, but it was a consistent flow of traffic. Not huge numbers, but the quality of the engagement and the input received was phenomenal. And I just want to thank the 6 strategic theme team leaders and their colleagues who were there for 4 hours to really get that input, answer questions, and then encourage people to go online because they could do their input there, but they can also do it online. So this is the eve of the deadline for this strategic plan survey. We already have over 1,000 comments on one of the strategic theme areas alone. The survey is not a traditional survey, it's a thought exchange. So you can not only look at the comments, but you can rate the comments. So it's very interactive. If you haven't already done it, we encourage you to spread the word, go online yourselves, and we'll be doing another big push via email, social media tomorrow. And then we had talked about trying to extend potentially even by a few days, but as you remember, this is a very tight timeline. We have already extended this by a month. So at this point, based on the level of input we've received and the real consistency in the input, there's not any real surprises, any new huge ideas. So we will close it tomorrow at midnight, and the data will be sent to the theme teams the next morning. And then they have basically 2 weeks to go through, revise those draft initiatives, which we will then, they will present to cabinet, and we will plan to present to you on February 7th. Then on February 8th begins the next phase, which is the initiative planning phase. This is where we're going to take those initiatives, prioritize them, and put a timeline on which ones could be implemented in year 1, year 2, year 3, and so on. So it's an exciting time. We are coming toward the conclusion of this process. The plan is to have kind of final presentations in mid to end of April. And then by that point, you'll also have, this will not end. This is an ongoing iterative process. So there'll be regular report outs. There will be ongoing stakeholder engagement every year. Those details are going to come to you as part of this next phase as we work it through. So I'm going to stop and see if there's any questions about strategic planning.
I just have one question. Who heads up those theme teams? Is it the cabinet members or?
Nope. In fact, we were specifically said it should not be cabinet, that it needs to be individuals who are going to be ultimately helping to play a role in implementing it more at the ground or even the district level. So you had Jamie Masco, who is the head of our parent committee engagement, Jonathan Harper, who's our director of curriculum, Malika Brown, who's head of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Megan Persons, who's the new enrollment coordinator. Who else am I missing here? Alexandra Watson, who's our kind of data guru. And I'm missing, Adriana Almanza, who is our talent retention recruitment coordinator.
Thank you.
You almost got me there, Kathy.
I've been thinking, John.
Trying to stump me. All right, hearing no others, now as the update from the GRPS Foundation and our new fearless CEO and leader of the foundation, who has just hit the ground running, has already had dozens of meetings and is we're so grateful to have Stephanie on board. She's already transforming the foundation, and you can feel the energy and momentum. So,
Thank you, John. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here, and I look forward to presenting every month kind of going forward at these meetings. Just want to share some high-level activities and things that I've been doing. I've been here 5 weeks now, and as John said, I've been hitting the ground running. So we're building the bridge as we are also walking it at the same time. Tomorrow, I'm very excited that I'll be meeting with the initial capital campaign cabinet for the Ottawa Hills capital campaign. So that is about $3.1 million that you guys have approved at this level, and very excited about the conversation we're having, especially around equity in our schools and making sure that we're lifting up both schools to have equal opportunity for sports and all of the other things that our kids deserve in this community. I wanted to share that we are moving Mindshare to June 1st. It's a big event for us. We raise over $300,000. We are going to be moving this event to the GRPS University. It will be an outdoor event, and we're really shaking things up. I'm really excited about what we have in store, and we're putting together our planning committee for that as well. We're really starting to organize how we're going to be engaging alums. And the first plan that we're going to be hitting the ground running with is going to be really talking to seniors this year. They're our youngest alums, and I think it's a great way to start talking to them first, and as well as engaging others that are in the neighborhood and around the community still. And then the final thing that I wanted to share, and I've been able to go to the strategic planning meetings and really have been talking to a ton of GRPS administrators, staff, teachers. I really had an amazing time just walking around and looking at the strategic goals and those priorities. And we are doing our own internal strategic planning as well, and that will actually, you guys will all be invited to, and we're going to be making this a community-led strategic plan, which will also go hand in hand with the strategic plan that you guys will be adopting. So more to come on that, but I just wanted to kind of share just some high-level things. Lots of other things going on, but I won't bore you with all the details.
You said that was June 1st, the Mindshare?
Yes, Mindshare, June 1st.
Any other?
It's a great plan.
Yeah.
It was great, exciting for sure. I don't think you were bored either, but we'll let you off the hook nonetheless. So. All right, well, thank you very much. Appreciate you both. Our action item for this evening is the purchasing agenda. I don't know if Mr. Oberst has anything he wants to offer with that. I don't think.
Mr. Oberst, would you like to come down and talk about the purchasing agenda, please?
Good evening, President Ross, Dr. Gorman, and board members. As has been the case for the last couple of years during this pandemic, we continue to have challenges as it relates to some of our construction programs in terms of needing additional time to order product and to get the labor force in place with our contractors. So, and as well as the major construction program we have now, as you're well aware, is Innovation Central High School. And so as we bid that out and we get these bids in, time is of the essence, which is why we can't always take this information to Finance Committee first, because we need to get going on these projects. Because as you're well aware, when a major project like at Innovation Central, there's only certain periods of time when we actually can do the work. Obviously, during the summertime, maybe some of the break times, we need to get going. So what you have in front of you tonight, we bid out parts of the overall construction project. Our general contractor, Rockford. These came in just after the first of the year, and we'd like to get these, and we've also pushed our Finance Committee off an extra week until the 31st. So we'd like to get your approval on these items today, and also the other one being the Ottawa Hills sound upgrade, which is being financed with CATA grants. So under the bond projects, as you can see, we're asking for approval on roof replacement. Again, this was all bid out. Hoekstra was the roofing company that was chosen. Second item there, number 2, was a storefront replacement. That's actually the front entrance, work on the front entrance. Third item there, as you can see, is window replacement, the standard supply, and lumber. And understand Innovation Central being in the historic district, any kind of external renovations, we are restricted and limited what we can do. These windows obviously are allowed, and we've gone through the proper approval, if you will, from City Historical Group. Yeah, and so we're going to move forward on that standard lumber. The last thing there is tuck pointing, and that's really a lot of the external masonry repair in that old building needs to be done at $989,000. We need this approval so our contractors can get the work scheduled. One of the more difficult products to get right now is roofing. And I don't know how far out roofing product is now along, but 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, those kinds of things. So if you approve this tonight, we can get back to our general contractor and get these particular projects scheduled, get the materials ordered, and continue to move forward in the Central Innovation Project.
Are these the first of the expenditures for Central, okay, that's what I was thinking. So this is the last of the renovations?
This is the last of the major renovations. We have a couple of, some dollars set aside for Westwood and Riverside. We're still debating on what to do with those, and I think we maybe have some security funds available. Anything else? I can't recall. I think that's it, basically. But this is the last. Central Innovation's the last major project we have with the 2016 and 19 bonds.
Good to hear.
Pardon me?
It's been a long time. So.
Yeah.
First,
Yes.
are the material prices being held, or are those subject to change? Do you know with the?
Can you help me on that, Long? Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And how did the bids compare to estimate? Pretty close? Great, okay. And remind me the overall project.
Overall project's about
20?
$25 million
25.
thereabouts. So.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Well, this looks like you'll have about 20 left when you're done with these.
Yeah, I mean, you may recall, I think we've talked about early on, the largest costs of this renovation is the HVAC system. And we're looking at that right now because that is becoming a little bit more pricier than we'd anticipated with that old building. Some of the things we had to do, and we've looked at all kinds of different options. So we hope to bring that to finance February. Yeah.
And does this renovation estimate include the Montessori building?
No, the Montessori is another almost $2 million. But it's really just air conditioning they put into that building is all, so.
Anyone else? Good. Thank you, Mr. Obers. Anyone want to make a motion for the purchasing agenda?
Motion for approval.
Ms. Grant, when you're ready.
All right, Dr. Flores?
Yes.
Ms. Grant, yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Reverend Matthias is excused. Ms. Shockey?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams is excused. Dr. Baker? Yes. Ms. Davis is excused. President Ross?
Yes. That motion carries. And a motion for the consent agenda grouping?
So moved.
Support.
All right, Dr. Flores?
Yes.
Ms. Grant, yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Reverend Matthias is excused. Ms. Shockey?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams is excused. Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Davis is excused. President Ross?
Yes. All right, excellent. Just one reminder to my colleagues, if you're interested in the ad hoc facilities committee, we do have a space on that available. Ms. Shockey is going to chair that committee. I don't know if Ms. Shockey, would you like to give us a sale or recruitment sale for that? No need if you don't want, but.
Well, this has been, I think, an area of priority for the board for a long time to develop a comprehensive plan and strategy around utilization of our facilities. And it seemed time, based on recent board discussions, to try to put that plan together with the district and to take a look back at many of the consultants who have given us a lot of incredible data over the last couple of years in regards to our facilities. So time to remind ourselves of that good work and to create a structure and plan for our facilities.
Do you have a time, date that you're going to meet? Not yet.
Not yet, no.
I would like to be on that committee.
I think we do want to get started next month. It's the last conversation we had, but no particular time and date set yet. Okay.
I would like to volunteer for that too.
All right. Well, that would round it out for us then. That would be Ms. Shockey, you and Ms. Grant, Dr. Flores, and Ms. Downs Lewis. Okay.
You have your tool belt?
Have a Bob the Builder costume. Okay, moving along in public comment for non-agenda items. Looks like we do have one. Mr. Brett Graham, you could come to the presentation table, please.
Good evening, Mr. Ross, Dr. Gorman. My name is Brett Graham, and I just have a couple quick things. I am here for Southwest Elementary Academia Bilingue, parent of a second grade student there. Our HVAC system has been having some issues all year. Currently the heating, again, I know it's been brought up before, but still giving staff difficulties. Our staff has been doing their best to manage. From the sounds of things, we've taken first steps in trying to keep in-house management first, and then we've sought out some service and advice. Our principal has been in contact with someone potentially in the district now about furthering the process along now. And we supposedly have at least one estimate coming in for updating or renovating our system. At this point, we just need to expedite the decision process to get classrooms more balanced on temperature and comfort. Some of the rooms overheat and some of them freeze, and it varies from day to day. One room could be really hot one day. The very next day, that exact same room could be freezing cold. So the teachers are doing their best to temporarily rig the system and the controls to make the students as comfortable as they can be. That wraps up that part. And then I see a lot of the district members are here, and I want to thank them and let you guys know. I had a great meeting with them about a week and a half ago about our playground process. Things are rolling on that. As mentioned earlier with purchasing, everybody is well aware of the time frames, tight time frames, but I am excited and we're optimistic about the progress that's happened and that will be coming ahead. And the school body, I think, is very excited and happy to see where we're at now. So, thank you.
Thank you. Right. I don't believe we have any other public comments carved for tonight, so we will move forward to the superintendent's comments.
No comment this evening.
Mr. Chisholm, would you like to offer any closing comments this evening?
I do not have a comment this week.
right.
Thank you.
Ms. Downs-Lewis?
None for me, thank you.
Ms. Grant?
No comment.
Dr. Baker?
I'm good, thanks.
Dr. Flores?
I'd like to take my privilege to make a comment about the passing of a community leader, Carmen Fite, who passed away recently. Carmen was an educator, a colleague who also was involved with activism in our community. She served as the first paid Hispanic Center director, was also a board member at times when we organized it. She was the co-founder, along with a couple of us that founded that agency and delivered programs that helped to support education, such as Homework House, established the Hispanic Festival for Western Michigan, and other employment programs that we ran during the summer for community improvement. But it is a loss to our community, and certainly want to share that and hope that people are remembered for the good deeds that they do, and especially for children and community, and who are selfless in that service. Carmen Fite, may you rest in peace.
No comment.
And no comment from me either, and so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.